morning, my dear students. I hope you are understood last day's class. Control sensation and responses we start right in biology. We are talked in the last class neuron. Neuron is the basic unit, okay, to control, coordinate our impulses through the brain to the brain. Collection of neuron is known as one nerve. That also I told. Are remembering sweeper made by the Urkel? In one sweeper, number of Urkel is there, right? That is one Urkel. Assume that neuron. That number of neuron collection is known as one nerve. Similarly, collection of Urkel is one sweeper. That we studied. Also, we studied. Last day I teach it like this. One drawing I drawn. You also drawn. This is the structure of neuron. Right? In neuron, impulse. You know, impulse means message. Receiving message or stimuli also can tell. To receive the impulse or message, specified receptors are contained in our body. That also I told. To feel the heat receptor in our skin. To feel sweetness, sweet receptor in the tongue. Similarly, number of receptors are contained in our body. That also I told. Okay. Now, look, this is neuron. You know, it is neuron. Last day I told. Today's our topic, what no? Generation and transmission of impulses. Meaning, example, we are unknowingly touching the hot object. Stimuli entering our body. Here our topic what no? Do you know nerve system managing control and coordination through the impulses? Nerve system is there. To the nerve system require the impulse. Generating impulse. Nerve system, what do you know? Generating the impulse and generating impulses and control the coordinating the all our muscles. Managing the control and coordinate through the impulse. Okay, nerve system. To work out, to active the nerve system, it requires the impulses. Without a message, no, nerve system is inactive. 24 hours, our body generates what impulses. Example, we are sleeping. Unknowingly, no, mosquito bites. But we don't know. Automatically, we have no protect like this. Understanding? In that time, who is control? Nerve system. To the nerve system, what is required? Impulse. Now we have to know in nerve system, how control and coordinating the impulses. That is today I going to teach. Look, this is neuron. Full neuron. You know, it is axon. Can you see what is mean by axon? Axon is the longest filament projected from the dendrite. From this one dendrite is projected. This all are dendrite and dendron. Dendron also you can see. First dendrite, dendron, and cell body axon. Axonite is synaptic nerve. This is the flow chart of transmission of impulses. That all right, teacher. I not taking again that one. Okay. Assume that here stimuli is received dendrite. That stimuli is entering to the dendron and cell body and enter to the axon. This axon I drawn here. Look. This is axon. I magnified and drawn. Look. Here impulse enter to the axon, right? Axon, impulse enter. Look. Before I will say axon made by the plasma membrane. What an axon is made by the plasma membrane. Outer surface of the plasma membrane is positive charge and inner is negative charge. Do you know why here charge is mentioned in the axon? Because here distributed certain ions. You know, ion, calcium ion and magnesium ion and different types of ions are presented in the axon. So here ions are presented here. Are understood now? What outer surface of the axon? I standing here because you can't see, no? I not standing here. Listen properly. This is axon. Axon, okay, I made largely. Axons made by the plasma membrane. You can refer the page number 10, okay. Keep the page number 10 textbook, and what I going to say, that is listen and underline the important points. Look, this is now axon. Axons made by the plasma membrane. Okay, outer surface is positive charge, inner surface is negative charge. Why? This is due to the difference in the distribution of certain ions. Okay, now stimuli is enter. Stimuli what? Enter. And stimuli is reached here. Assume that stimuli is here now. Now stimuli is here. This is stimuli. Assume that is pain or heat stimuli. And only you touch hot object, stimuli enter and reach here. That time what will happen now? Polarity will be changed. Here outside negative, inside positive. Where is the stimuli? Then interchanging the polarity. Understood? If this stimuli is reaching here, assume that reaching here, that time it is will be original state. Positive outside, negative inside. Now stimuli here. Now stimuli reaching here. Right? Now here interchanging the polarity. Outside negative, inside positive. If the stimuli reaching here become a original state, outside positive, negative. Here stimuli, if it is stimuli here, polarity change. Remember, this here change in polarity. Can you see that one? Polarity change, Also here what happened now? Momentary charge difference in the stimuli, the adjacent part also changes. Meaning, if your stimuli, means here interchange the polarity, also adjacent side, look, this is adjacent side, near side. There also chance to be change the polarity. Here stimuli, if here stimuli, also polarity changing the adjacent side also. And if the stimuli reaching here, it become a original state, and here polarity changes. How changing here? Also change, outer become a negative, inner positive. Also adjacent side also changes. Why? Will ask why? Due to the different distribution of ion. Are understood? Then it is reaching, this is stimuli reaching last where? Axonate, synaptic node. I hope you are understood this one. I'll say what is this topic, what will ask in the examination. How generation and transmission of impulses occurs in the axon or in the nerve. You have to say axon is made by the plasma membrane. Outer surface become a positive and negative, inner surface is negative. It is due to the different in the distribution of certain ions. Also, when it is stimulated, distribution of ion in the particular part changes, means inner surface become a positive, outer surface become a what? Negative. Also, this momentary charge, different stimulating its adjacent part also. Understood now? Similar changes occurs, then impulses are proceed and entering to the brain. I hope you are understood. If you have any doubt means you can personally call, I will explain. I have tried this much point when asking this one. Are understood? Say what say? How will you explain? Generation and the transmission of impulse, how will you explain? Yes, very good. Axon made by the plasma membrane. Outer surface become a positive polarity and inner surface become a negative. It is due to the distribution of certain ions. When it is stimulated, inner surface become a positive, outer surface become a negative. Also, this momentary changes also occurs in the adjacent. and transmit the impulses as electrical impulses. You know, electrical impulse, electrical charge contain both positive and negative. Similarly, in action inside electrical impulses, so that no here Schwann shell is covered as insulator. That is last video I explained. I hope this is you are understood. Understood now? So here one question I giving. You have to write the answer in the notebook. First question. That question contain page number 11. Okay. Contain. Other is I going to say. This is your question. Explain how generation and transmission of impulses are occurring in the nerves. That time you have to draw like this and you explain. You can refer the page number 10, bottom paragraph, and page number 11, top paragraph. The two paragraph explain this one. Study well and write that one. Next I going to take next topic. Listen. Next look what I going to say. Again, we are come to the neuron. I told how generation and coordinates of impulses occurs in the neuron. That are understood due to the certain ions present it, right? Now look. Next topic is synapse. Synapse. Okay. You can take the page number 11. There is a topic synapse. Synapse. I'll see what's mean by synapse. Do you know? This is my left forefinger, right? When I am only touching the hot object, impulse enter, right? Enter this impulse receiving the receptor and impulse are conducting through the neuron and reaching to the brain. Brain identify, give the response, you know. I'll say this one neuron not a long one. This neuron may be short. Here one neuron is dendrite, dendron, cell body, axon, axonite, synapse. And again starting dendrite, dendron, cell body, axon, axonite, synapse. Again like this it is made by the chain. Look, I drawn on the board. Look, dendrite receiving the stimula, dendron, cell body, axon, axonite, synaptic knob, and adjacent neuron is started. Look again, dendrite, dendron, cell body, axon, like this going on. Here two neuron I drawn on the board. One is complete figure, one is half. Anyway, look this one here. This is and with the synaptic knob, right? And adjacent neurons dendrite here, right? This is junction and gap. That gap is known as synapse. Now understood now synapse means what? Junction between two neuron, not only two neuron and muscle cell, neuron and muscle cell, that junction also synapse. Not only nerve or neuron and muscle cell, neuron and glandular cell. You know different gland is there in our body, right? Means synapse definition like this. Synapse is the junction between two neuron and yes, muscle cell and neuron and glandular cell. You can refer this one, synapse definition, page number 11. There is a one box is there. In that box, that explain what's mean by synapse. Look here, synapse definition is there. This is synapse. Okay, means this is the synapse definition. Here I am first line. Okay, what is mean by synapse? Synapse is the junction between two neuron and muscle cell, neuron and glandular cell. That is known as synapse. Okay, page number 12 you turn. There I am figure which one? Nerve cell, muscle cell, glandular cell. In that also explain. Look here, junction between two neuron. It is synapse. Junction between neuron and muscle cell, synapse. Junction between neuron and glandular cell, that also synapse. Okay, come to the page number 11. Again, this page I am going to explain. I understood this one. Look here. Here I drawn synapse drawing. This is synapse. I made large, magnified and drawn. Look here, just it It is one synaptic knob, one dendrite I drawn here. One synaptic knob. This is synaptic knob. This is synaptic knob, single. This is adjacent neurons dendrite. This dendrite. This is dendrite. Understood? Here number of synaptic knob is there. Here number of dendrite is there. From this one single synaptic knob, from this one single dendrite. This is synaptic knob, this is dendrite. That is drawn here. Like this, number of synaptic knob dendrite is there. I don't think you in the examination ask draw synapse. You have to draw this one, but you have to give the definition. Synapse is the junction between two neuron and muscle cells, neuron and glandular cell. That understood now. Later synapse like this you have to draw. Understood? This how this is only. Look here, can you see this one? Look, one synaptic knob, one dendrite. This is I made magnified and draw. Do you know in axon inside, neuron inside, electrical impulses are moving. Look, electrical impulses are reaching and to the synaptic knob and secret outside. Secret means emitted outside and enter into electrical impulses to the adjacent. Yes, dendrite. Their arrow mark you like this, okay? Arrow mark. Here inside arrow mark, here in arrow mark outside. Arrow mark here outside. I explain this one. Listen here. You know, electrical impulses transmitted through the axon and reaching to the synaptic knob. And when reaching to synaptic knob, they are secreting chemical substance to the gap. This gap, you know, this gap is known as synapse, otherwise synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft. Again telling, electrical impulses are transmitting through the axon and reaching to the synaptic knob and secret some neurotransmitter outside. This is neurotransmitter. Again, this neurotransmitter help to enter the impulse to the dendrite. And like this, continuing, entering and reaching to the impulse to the brain. Understood? No? Junction, you know, when we travel in local bus to the Mangalore, from the Manjeshwar to Kalapadi, you are reaching, you are step down, and you are entering to the another bus, 42 number local bus. And you are reaching to the Mangalore. You know, you are step down in the Kalapadi and enter to the second bus. That is gap is known as one junction. You telling junction? Similarly, electrical impulses transiting through the axon and reaching to the synaptic knob. That electrical impulses are secret outside, step down out with the neurotransmitter and entering to the next. Yes, dendrite, your next bus. Similarly, this gap is known as what? Synaptic cleft. In synaptic cleft, what contain neurotransmitter? Neurotransmitter. Can see dots one, neurotransmitter. This is neurotransmitter. What do you know? Regulating the speed and direction of impulse. Regulating the speed and direction of impulse. Your impulse speedily entering to the impulses through the axon by the help of neurotransmitter. In examination ask how many types of neurotransmitter is there? Two types neurotransmitter, acetylcholine and dopamine. These two are neurotransmitter. These two neurotransmitter help to regulating the direction and speed of the impulses. Are understood? Okay, I am just rewinding. What is now again? First point I telling again. You know, this is synapse. Synapse is the junction between. Synapse is the junction between. Are understanding? Synapse is the junction between dendrite and synaptic knob. Are understood? Synapse is the junction between synaptic knob and dendrite. That is known as synapse. Otherwise, junction between two neuron, junction between neuron and muscle cell, junction between neuron and glandular cell. That are the synapse. And also, synapse drawing this one. Is electrical impulses reaching to the synaptic knob and secretes some chemical substance. That substance is known as neurotransmitter. Two types is there, acetylcholine and dopamine. This also helping to regulating the speed and direction of the impulse. That impulse enter into the next dendrite. Synapse. We'll ask in the examination, what is the use of synapse or neurotransmitter? It regulates the speed and direction of impulses. I hope you are understood synapse. You have to write this full. Heading give in the notebook synapse and draw it synapse and synapse definition. Junction between two neuron and neuron glandular cell, neuron and muscle cell. Two neurons also you can write. After that, you explain it. Neurotransmitter will ask what is mean by neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter meaning when electrical impulses reaching to the synaptic knob, it secretes the chemical substance. Understood? To the synaptic cleft. That is chemical substance is neurotransmitter. What again telling? When electrical impulses are reaching to the synaptic knob, it secretes some chemical substance outside to the synaptic cleft. That chemical substance is known as neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter two type, acetylcholine and dopamine. Also, this synapse use it regulate and direction of directions of impulses. What synapse what doing? Synapse have to regulate and speed and direction of the impulses. Are understood? Two topic over. First one what generation and distribution of. First one I took generation and distribution. Generation and transmission of impulses I told. That's the main point. Positive and negative. Outside positive, inside negative. Okay, plasma membrane. Next I took what synapse. Okay, next I going to say, listen. Next neuron not a single. Neuron three type is there. Neuron. Sensory neuron, motor neuron and mixed neuron. Say what are the three types of neuron? Take the page number 12, you can refer. There are heading on neuron, nerves is there heading, nerves. Nerves, page number 12. Okay, nerves. Table 1.1. Table 1.1. Explain types of nerves. Look, nerves three types. First one, say sensory neuron. Yes, sensory nerve. First one, sensory nerve. This is a table. Okay, page number 12. Sensory nerve. Second one, motor nerve. Motor nerve. Third one, mixed nerve. Mixed nerve. Three types nerves in our body. Compressed. First of all, sensory nerve. How sensory nerve is made? Sensory nerve formed of sensory nerve fiber. Sensory nerve formed sensory nerve fiber. What it use? It carrying impulses from different types, different part of the body to the brain and spinal cord. Carrying impulses to the brain and spinal cord. Example, unknowingly touching the hot object. Stimula enter to the receptor. This stimula carrying to where? To the brain or spinal cord. Carrying impulses, taking impulses to the brain and spinal cord. That is duty of sensory neuron. And brain give the response. Take out your hand. That message given by who? Brain or spinal cord. What complaint took given? What complaint? My finger unknowingly touched the hot object. That complaint means message taken by the nerve. That nerve is known as sensory nerve. That is reaching to the brain. Brain give what response? You take out. That message coming back by which nerve? Motor. Motor nerve carrying the impulses from brain and spinal cord to part of the body. Again, sensory nerve, what function? Carries impulses from various part of the body to the brain and spinal cord. Carrying the impulses from various part of the body to the brain and spinal cord. Taking the messages to the brain and spinal cord. But motor neuron what doing now? Carrying impulses from brain and spinal cord to the other part of the body. Mixed what? Both work by one neuron, two in one. Meaning what? Carrying impulses to the brain and spinal cord has taking out from the brain and spinal cord. Both duty doing by which neuron? Mixed. Mixed neurons number of examples is there. In our eye, optic nerve carrying impulse. In our ear, auditory. In shop of the spectacles written opticals. Opticals means opticals. Listening sound, audio. In our nose contain the neuron is known as olfactory neuron. In tongue is normal. Skin normal nerve. Meaning, in our eye contain optic nerve. This optic nerve what do you know? Two in one. Carrying impulses to the brain and spinal cord and taking back the impulses from brain and spinal cord. That is belongs to mixed neuron. Which one example? Optic nerve. Optic nerve. Similarly, auditory nerve. Auditory nerve. Understood? Similarly, auditory nerve. Auditory nerve what compresses in the ear, carrying impulses to the brain and spinal cord, also taking back from the brain and spinal cord. Are understood? How many types nerve? 3 types. Sensory nerve, motor nerve, and mixed nerve. Sensory neurons formed by sensory nerve fiber and motor nerve formed by motor formed of motor nerve fibers. Mixed is formed by sensory nerve fiber and motor nerve fiber. Are understood now? Okay, this is used what? Carrying impulses from various parts of the body to the brain and spinal cord. This is carrying impulses from brain and spinal cord to the other part of the body. But a mixed nerve carrying impulses from and to the brain and spinal cord. Are understood now? Are understood? Next, listen, I going to take. Page number 30. Nervous system. Okay. Brain, spinal cord controls our each and activities our bodies. Brain, spinal cord. You can see here. Look. Brain, this long, look here, spinal cord. This both is known as central nervous system. Similarly, in brain contain the nerve is known as cranial nerve. It is 12 pair. In spinal cord contain the nerve is known as spinal nerve. 31 pair. Listen, brain and spinal cord is known as central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord is known as what central nervous system. And spinal brain contain the cranial nerve. Cranial nerve 12 pair and spinal nerve 31 pair. Both is known as peripheral nerve system. Understood? Look, nerve system two types. What are they? Two types. Yes, central nerve system. Central nerve system. Second one, this is central nerve system. Second one, yes, very good. Peripheral nerve system. Peripheral nerve system. This chart contains page number 13. Okay, next, central nervous system. What are the two organs contain? Brain, spinal cord, right? Brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord together is known as nerve system, central nerve system. And in brain, what kind of nerves contain? Yes, cranial nerve. And spinal cord, what kind of nerve? Yes, spinal nerve. Can you say how many pair? Cranial nerve? Yes, 12 pair. And spinal nerve? Yes, 31 pair. I will give one clue. 12 pair. Correct? 1 plus 2, 3. 1, 31 pair. Remember the tricks, okay. Are understood? What? Nerve system, two types, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system contains brain and spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system contains cranial nerve and spinal nerve. Both, okay. This is how to complete, okay. Page number 13. Page number 13, there is a chart, you have to complete it and you have to send to me through your notes. You see how to complete. Now I am going to take our main part, our body, brain. Brain is the, you can say brain is leader of all organs. That's what it is known as central nervous system. Also spinal cord also very important, okay. Our brain and spinal cord is very important parts of our body. Without the brain, what will happen? Understood? No. You not say the answer, right? Okay, brain controls everything, also activities. Okay, next are you going to say brain means what? You know, you can see the brain's image, page number 14, look. 14. That is the brain. Look at this brain. This is our brain. Okay. Okay, brain. Listen, brain is the central. I understood what I'm going to rub this one. You are understood this one. All right, and take in your notebook. Okay. Our next topic is what? Brain. This contains page number 13. Continue page number 14. Okay, brain. Brain. Look, brain what now? Brain is the central part of the nerve system. Nerve system's the main parts. Brain full compressed with the nerve. Understood? Nerves. What? Brain is the definition. Brain is the central part of the nerve system. Say what? Brain is the central part of nervous system. Can see now? Brain is the central part of the nerve system. Okay. You know brain were kept in the skull. Yes, in the skull, our brain is kept. Brain is protected inside the skull. It is covered by the meninges. Okay, meninges. This is right brain. It is the left brain. This is covered by meninges, means membrane. That membrane is stronger than steel. Okay, like a skin type membrane. Okay, again telling brain, right brain, left brain is compressed with covered with meninges and kept on the skull. Kept on the skull. Skull look like this. This is our body, face. As you can hear our face. Okay, nose. Okay, here now, this is brain. Here, this is part is known as skull, in bone cavity. In that, brain is covered. Brain is the protector inside the skull. It is covered by the meninges. 3 meninges covered. Okay, brain and covered with the meninges. Like this, 3 meninges is there. Gap of the meninges filled, the fluid is known as cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid. CSF short. Cerebrospinal fluid. What is the purpose? It providing the nutrients and oxygen to the tissues of the brain. Brain tissues, oxygen required. Nutrients, oxygen, everything is required. Who providing this fluid? That fluid is known as cerebrospinal fluid. It is providing nutrients and oxygen to the cavity or cell of the brain. Understood? How many layer? 3 layer. What is the name of the layer? Meninges. It is called to the brain. Brain were kept on the skull. I hope you are understood the definition of brain. Understood now? Okay. Cerebrospinal fluid is filled within the inner membrane and meninges and ventricles of the brain. Okay. Now you have to take the page number. You getting page number what now? 14. Look up the top one paragraph is there about this brain and cerebrospinal fluid. What now? The cerebrospinal fluid formed from the blood and reabsorbed into the blood. Cerebrospinal fluid's uses you are understood. Cerebrospinal fluid what doing? Providing the nutrients and oxygen to tissues of the brain. How it is formed? It is formed by the blood and reabsorbed by the blood. Blood forms cerebrospinal fluid. After that, same blood reabsorb and reproduction and reabsorb and production. Continuous production. This task continues. Once generated and again reabsorbed, making means drying, again producing, again dry. Both work who doing blood. Blood help to provide or generate the cerebrospinal fluid in the cavity of the brain. Understood? Page number 14 top I told you. Okay. The function of cerebrospinal fluid will ask what are the function of cerebrospinal fluid. It providing the first point provide. I told you provide nutrients and oxygen. Provide nutrients and oxygen to the providing cerebrospinal fluid. What are the function of cerebrospinal fluid? Providing nutrients and oxygen to the tissues of the brain. Oxygen to the tissues of the brain. This one CSF function. CSF means what? Cerebrospinal fluid. Second function, I am going to write here. Which one is cerebrospinal? So second function, it protect the brain from the injury. It protect cerebrospinal fluid. It protect injury or protect the brain. Okay, protect brain from the injury, Are understood? I hope you are understood this one, right? What are they? Brain is main part. Okay, what brain is the central part of the nerve system. In brain is covered by the three meninges, and inner meninges inner filled cerebrospinal fluid. It is formed by blood reabsorbed by the same blood. The functions of cerebrospinal fluid, it providing the nutrients and oxygen to the tissues of the brain, and also to protect the brain from the protect the brain from injuries. Okay, I going to say brain. Okay, next class I going to explain about this brain. Next class. Okay, from this first of all you have to know there are how many fingers to our hand? 5, right? Similarly, 5 main parts contain to the brain. Name, today I am going to say the name. First one is cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, thalamus, hypothalamus. Next class I will explain this one. What I told today, everything you have to listen properly 2 or 3 times and note it in your notebook and send to me through Google form. Understood now? And doubt means call me and I will clear it. Thank you.